All right, welcome to another episode of the Chart Readers. We are continuing our recent runner review, making a second look at TRKA as well as MULN. Look, last week I covered this stock. I was bullish. I said there was enough reason to feel good, and man, this did better than good to say the least, right? We come right to my first line. I do have another line above this that we'll talk to, and look, obviously this was really good. Definitely are going to talk about the RSI, but just such a beautiful MACD, such beautiful volume. I mean, I'm excited to get to the details. But before we do, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how this is setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. Again, I just talked about this resistance line that I do draw manually myself. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please like and subscribe. It does really well with the YouTube algorithms. But even if you don't, just thank you so much for watching this, okay? And then I always say it, if you disagree with anything I got to say, throw it in the comments, all right? I am not pretending to be perfect. I am not some magical guru. I'm just giving you my opinions. And if yours are better, I really do want to know them. So look, last time I made this video was literally a week ago. I think it was before this gap up, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it was around this gap up. Nonetheless, I felt good going into the week, and clearly the week has delivered given today's monster nearly 50 burger, right? So loving the MACD, definitely loving this volume. If I can just draw this really quickly, I really like that we just kind of continue uptrend with the volume. And really even from that day too, it's still kind of going up, right? So I like that volume's picking up. Obviously there's a couple days where it drops, and that's never good, right? But that's what we have these moving averages up here for. Before getting back up here, I have to call it out. Look, an 87 RSI is very high, okay? I generally say 80 is where it needs a cool down. It actually almost looked like that's what was going to happen here, but again, we see why this is the last moving average for a reason, and when you break it, monstrous things happen, right? So overall, got to love what we're seeing. Let me go to the weekly just so it's a little easier to see this second line. So look, like I said, we literally cracked it actually by a penny. I drew it at 76. We obviously closed at 77. And really the net, and that's because of this plateau. The next plateau is right here, and that's where we get the 110 line from, okay? Look, both on the weekly, we're over 80, and on the daily, we're well over 80, okay? It's definitely a high RSI, but man, it's interesting to see it kind of like want to go up, but yeah, I'm definitely, look, there's a couple ways this is going to play, okay? I could see this dropping to maybe 68 cents, give or take. Again, that's a high RSI, and I can see it needing to cool down. I could see it dropping to 54 cents, because honestly, I think if it loses 67, whatever we just said that number was, I don't know if 60 will hold, and I can see it coming to this. I actually really don't think we're losing the 200. I think we've done a pretty good job establishing that break. It looks like we're about to golden cross the 8 and the 20. It looks like we've actually, or maybe they're right on each other. Yeah, they're right on each other, but it looks like the 50 wants to golden cross the 100 again. When a lower one breaks over a big one, whoop, whoop, very good. When the last one breaks over the first, you know what I mean? Like even better, right? So love seeing that right there for sure. I love that the green line keeps going up. I like that we're still going away from the green line as well. I like that the that the orange line, the 20 is also going up. I mean, there's a lot to like. I wish this wasn't as high, but again, this thing's made a pretty good move, and it made a really monstrous move. So like even if you didn't catch in the beginning, right? There was still plenty of profit, again, especially after what today did. We talked about the weekly. Look, we have broken the 50, and we're starting this week well. We've gapped up. It's obviously still very early, and we got to see where it closes, but I mean, let's just zoom out real quick. There are no more moving averages on the weekly. When I click right here, all you see is the 820 and the 50 in that box right there. We are trading over all the moving averages on the weekly, and that is a very bullish thing, and that makes your daily that much bullish, especially when this one is now also all over all the moving averages, right? So again, I talked about this plateau where I made this line. this plateau where I made this line, it seems like it might actually make a little run to this 110. I don't think it'll close here, but man, I'll tell you, we've seen some silly high RSIs. I've seen some in the 90s. And volume, yeah, just keeps going up, right? Look, this was the number one share mover, okay? This thing moved 348. The next stock we're going to look at was the number two at 200, okay? I don't know if we're going to sustain this high volume. If we drop again, like we've had big day drop, big day drop, big day drop, big day drop, might take us, like I said, to where I thought, right? This 68, 67, maybe 60, maybe 53. I'm not drawing any of those lines though, because again, this is still the line that matters. Clearly we got right to it. We broke it actually, so that is a bullish thing, right? And yeah, I care about these moving averages a lot. So overall, I'm not drawing any new lines. I do think we might at least wick to 110. I'm just, you know, there's a lot to be bullish here, okay? And I see nothing more than a healthy cool down when I talk about it coming down. Like this is a very, very bullish chart, both on the weekly and on the daily. And yeah, you gotta love it, right? But again, don't be surprised if we cool down a little bit. Just needs to bring the RSI. Look, again, at this point up here, we were up here, then we come down a little bit. But all we really do is kind of go horizontal before we go up, right? So yeah. I think that's a good view on this guy. But again, I was very bullish last week. I'm not as bullish because, again, I think we've made the monster move and it kind of needs to cool down. But for sure, I think if we come down and then go back up, it could keep going monsters. And obviously, if it keeps going, I mean, shit, 110's the next line, okay? All right, coming into MULN. Look, I was very bearish the last time I made this video, right? But things are looking just a little better today, okay? I am not 100% convinced yet, but look, it did the most important thing for me to at least consider it. It just broke the 8 moving average. Bad things happen under the 8, bad things happen under the 20. I'm glad we at least got over the 8, okay? By no means is this a good break of the 8. This is definitely a doji. Dojis do not count at all. This was the number one volume mover until the last stock that we looked at actually passed it, right? So volume definitely slowed down a little bit on this thing. And then have we actually, yeah, we haven't even gotten over that. We need to get over this 23-cent line for me to actually believe. I'll go ahead and set my alert for 24. Let me know if we get to 24 cents. Again, if we break, there's a good amount of red that would maybe take us to 30 cents right here. Do I really think we're gonna break all these three and maybe hit this 32? I don't. You know, I know there's all this red here. It actually even continues to here, going well beyond that 40 cents. I just think that's way, way too tight. Now, look, a couple things. That's a wildly low RSI right there. If this thing moves up and starts actually going up, hey, that could really help propel it, all right? It's been a while since we've had any like monster volume like that or even like that, right? I don't even think we've hit these. Yeah, we're still under these. So a good monster volume, a good RSI change, and then a flip of a MACD might do some stuff. And again, I think it's going to start by getting over this. And I'm actually going to go ahead and draw this line. We do need to break that for sure. Oh, still too high. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Come on now. Right there. Good. We're not quite there. We're definitely close. But yeah, if we can break that, we're going to get that stairway up. Otherwise, all we're going to do is what this thing's been doing for a good while, which is going under the 8 moving average. Look, I've said this on other videos. I don't think the EV stocks are what they used to be. I think the shift is moving over to AI stocks. And these I actually even think the lithium stocks are going to do better than EV because, again, I think the car market is pretty saturated and it's now about other things, all right? Just my personal opinions. Obviously has nothing to do with the technicals. Look, this is not a good weekly, and we've actually just death crossed. We've now gone under. The 8 was above it, and then now, like, we like golden crosses that go up. We saw 2 of those on the last stock. We're now seeing a death cross here. So weekly, I'm not liking it at all, all right? And that goes back to why I just don't think we're breaking 30 cents. Maybe we can make a nice run to 30, and yeah, that's a good percentage. That's actually more than 20%, right? It's actually more than 30%. because we're making more than 6 cents right there. Even if I got in at the 24 cent instead of the 23, I'm still going to hit a 30 burger if it hits, right? So I'd be super happy with that, right? So just things to consider, right? I know it sounds weird when I say, hey, wait a penny, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's for reasons like that. But MULN, look, this used to be a beast, all right? I unfortunately, in my non-technical, I don't think it is what it used to be. And honestly, I'm more looking at all-time lows than a break of going up, because we've all we're doing is going under the 8 and 20. It's been a long time under it, right? And until we can do it and confirm it, yeah, just expectations, right? It's about keeping them real, not being a fanboy. You know what I mean? So, hey, if you disagree with anything I got to say, please throw it in the comments. But again, I appreciate your time so much.